The PO-LING framework, I think, comes into play when I harken back to the play I produced, Yellowface. I think, first of all, it started with the network. When I decided I wanted to produce this play, Yellowface, I used the Stanford Alumni Directory and looked up David Henry Hwang and sent him an email and was like, "Hey David, can I produce your play?" And he was like, "Sure." So that was pretty nice. David is a very down-to-earth and super supportive guy. So that was amazingly easy and also very helpful in the future when we're trying to produce things and we can just say David Henry Hwang didn't have to do that. So he's a wonderful guy. So that was the first step, and we got the rights to Yellowface. And the actual producing of Yellowface ended up being quite a difficult thing to produce. Producing a play in general it's like starting a company, so it's pretty hard work. And so I think this is where the perseverance of priorities and passion comes through. So we decided, I found a co-producer who is a fellow actor that I had met at an acting workshop. And we were both kind of late career actors and both high overeducated, and we decided, oh, we can produce this play together. And we had a really hard time pitching it as two first-time actor producers. And so she stepped back to be the producer so that I could star in it. And we pitched it. We basically reached out to everybody, just to venues all around London for our first year. And this is, I guess, where leading comes through, where you have that proactivity, and also where being American helps, where you just kind of email or cold call artistic directors of major venues in London and say, "Hey, can I have a coffee? Can I talk to you about this play?" Which was actually pretty successful. We were able to have a lot of have coffee and ask advice and kind of figure out how they programmed with a lot of the artistic directors in London. So we did that. We got a lot of rejection in terms of, we had some people say, it's too esoteric, people don't know who David Henry Hwang is. He hadn't been produced in 20 years in London. And we had some people who would say, oh, but this is not an audience that will come to the theater. Nobody wants to see East Asians in the theater, or East Asians won't come, which is a little annoying. So talking to these different venues and getting that kind of pushback was a big part of where growth came in, where we had to face that adversity and figure out what to do. And then we ended up approaching the Park Theater, which again was pulling off our network, which was run by a director and artistic director and executive director who I had worked with before in this workshop, actually, where I had met my co-producer. And so we were able to go in with them and have our pitch, and they had a little bit more confidence in us as people since they knew us, and we were really able to take advantage of David Henry Hwang's name. And it happened around the same time as the Orphan Zhao controversy, so we were able to kind of capitalize on that and open our play when it was kind of at top of people's minds. Producing the play itself is it's a big job, and starring in the play and producing it while you're actually doing this play. At one point my director had to come up to me and say, "Kevin, you're really bad on stage right now. You have to not do any of the producing," because I was effectively rehearsing from 10 to 6 every day and then going home and producing from 6 to 2 basically, and which doesn't give you too much time to work on the performance, and it's pretty exhausting. And so my co-producer, her name's Lucy Fenton, she's awesome and also an actor, and she I guess this is also where network comes through, where she did it all, and we basically threw everything onto her plate. She wasn't allowed to. She was like, where the director was like, "You're not allowed to call Kevin. You're not allowed to, make him do stuff." So she really handled it all in the last couple weeks of rehearsal, and that was again a big moment of growth for me as an actor. And then the play came out to be quite successful. We were very happy. I think. For us, and then we transferred into the National Theater, which was again a moment of leading. There's a longer story behind it, but effectively I decided to email the artistic director of the National Theater and ask him if he wanted to transfer us in. And that happened quite excitingly. And I guess finally, in terms of others, the entire cast, 7 of us, all made their National Theater debuts through the piece, as well as David Henry Hwang. And really the visibility of Asian Americans and our story kind of became a lot more mainstream. It was seen by a lot more people. It was endorsed by this, great national institution, global institution really, and really I think brought the East Asian and the Asian American experience to a much wider platform. The entire Yellowface production experience for me, I think, did really exemplify the PO-LING framework. The perseverance that required over 2 years to get this play up, which was very much a passionate project for myself. Bringing others along with me, as well as kind of raising the visibility of the East Asian, Asian American community in the theater world. Leading, I think a lot of it was taking big risks and making those asks and kind of being proactive on that front. Inspiring, I think as an Asian American play, both myself was inspired by David Henry Hwang, and hopefully the play inspired others to take similar action in raising visibility in Asian American, East Asian issues. The network obviously was very important in getting the play and getting a venue and getting a co-producer and basically everything. And then growth for myself and my co-producer as actors and producers, and the adversity we faced and what we had to overcome also played a big part. So I think it was a pretty PO-LING experience.